the self-made training facility, Coaches Corner. I'm here with Coach Jarvis, and we are here to discuss how trainers can build their bodies and build their businesses as well. So today's topic we're going to have for you is going to be red flags. And so we're going to talk about client red flags that coaches should never ignore. And we're just going to jump straight in. So firstly, non-compliance disguised as confusion. So we have clients that maybe some troublesome clients. And so at the beginning, if they're not complying with the program and they're always asking questions but never implementing them. Jarvis, what would you do with a client that's an asshole?
Asshole.
An asshole.
Okay. Great question. Client that's an asshole. I would break it down for them more. From the way I approach things is a good teacher can get through to a bad student. So I would adjust my way of talking to that specific client about that specific topic. Everybody has a certain way that they learn, right? Some people are more visual. Some people are more hands-on.
Kinetic learning.
Yeah, so I kind of have to break it down that way to get my point across to them. Because, like I said, a lot of them ask, but they don't do what you're supposed to do. Or they act like they're confused about what you tell them. Or like, oh, eat oatmeal, and they eat the ones with sugar instead of
Sometimes it is
non-sugar. Yeah. Right. Sometimes they do that. But then at the same time, I'm one that always accept, like, okay, I should have clarified that, you know, and on my end, and it fixes it for the next one. So it does help with coaching. When you make a mistake with somebody, you can clean it up and use it on the next one. That's one thing that helps it. But also just learning how to connect to that particular person in that situation, you know.
Right,
that's what I do.
Yeah, sometimes there's interference, like the way you're sending out a message and the way they're receiving it.
Yeah.
Something got miscommunicated or they just heard it differently. Another time is when they're kind of fighting back against you, or if they're asking questions, and in the end, they're probably asking questions to try and make it easier.
Yeah.
And then once the questions become too much, you're like, you haven't done what I said initially or even attempted to.
Right.
That's when you can't give up on them either. Because I've seen that. I've had that before where you wanted to. The one thing that I have with my training and that I tell other trainers around here is a lot of the people that are coming to you, they've explored or interviewed other coaches, or whether it's a male or a female, maybe they've asked their spouse for help. And a lot of times the spouse trying to help their partner with fitness usually is, you got to have a very special relationship for that to happen.
Right.
It's hard to separate like the relationship from work, and it's how to separate their fitness from their work life and their family life. But what I think is important is that you're also getting paid to never give up on them.
Right.
Whether you have to repackage a meal plan and have it a fancy name like the South Beach diet, or we're carb cycling, or whatever you're doing, telling a client, I want you to eat healthier and exercise more, usually doesn't work. I found. Like, everyone nowadays, they want an instant gratification, or it has to have a cool, like a name for it.
Right.
You know, what are we training today? Oh, we're the next 8 weeks we're gonna do my X-frame training program.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, that's dope. And then you go and do the same exercises you did last week, but because you called it the X-frame training program, now it's something new and it's different for them. So I think that like how you package the program is important.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then what about a client says this to you? This is another one that I get all the time. I'm doing everything that you say, but yet you ask them for their food log.
They don't.
No. You ask them for their progress pictures.
Never.
They don't weigh in.
Right.
Okay. So what I've done in that case, especially when it comes down to food, but you can do with training too, is I want to see a visual. Take a picture of everything you eat that day or drink that day, and then send it to me at the end of the day. Yeah. And then you can find out a lot of mistakes that are made, whether it's training. Oh man, you know, I'm working out with you once a week or twice a week, and it's really I'm not seeing the results. And then you say, all right, when you're on your own, I want you to send me one set of a working set of each exercise that I gave you to do. And you see them like 3, 4, 5, they get to like 8 to 10 reps, and they stop. And you're like, bro, you got like 5 reps left. Yeah. And then they're not training in proximity to failure. Right. So I think a lot of people, like, when they look at it, that they're not getting the results, they're also not cognizant of the amount of work it takes. I find that mostly with clients that are like once a week or twice a week. Once the clients have had you 2-3 times a week over an extended period of time and they know what to expect, I feel like then they know what to do on their own.
Right.
So a lot of times when clients ask me, well, how many sessions do I need a week? I said, well, how accountable do you want to be? Like, know yourself. Are you going to be able to train on your own? As like, for example, Kelly's not going to work out by herself. And she told me that from the start. She goes, if I got to train you 3-4 days a week, you tell me, because I'm not going by myself. I don't want to be in the gym. I don't like the gym, but I like the results I get from it. So she knows herself, and she relayed that to me so I can develop a program necessary. And I told her, hey, you don't need to train 4 days a week if you want to compete. Because if you're not going to do it by yourself. Then we have other clients that are highly accountable and will put in the work on their own time. So I find that red flag can be really taken care of at the start of a training program with a client by having them look inside intrinsically and being like, how much do you need from me? And then I can tell you how many sessions you're going to need with me.
Yeah.
And then our last and favorite client, they ask you, how long is it taking you to look like that, Jarvis?
Oh, yeah.
And I tell people as a joke now, I'm 36. I say, it take me 36 years.
Yeah.
Look at me funny. I tell you, you can make life-altering, changing amount of progress in like 16 weeks. But you're going to have to be a Spartan.
This is Sparta!
You have to listen to everything I say. So the client that wants results but doesn't want to change their behavior, what do you tell them? Or how do you deal with them?
I have to set a realistic expectation with them, because it doesn't happen overnight, and there's no magic pills for this. So those are the hard ones, because those are the ones that want that instant gratification. Those are your harder ones that sometimes are working hard, but also they're very impatient because they work hard and they want the results there right then, right away, within a week or two. And those are the ones that are really hard on themselves. And then those also are the ones that stress a lot because they're so hard on themselves. So that's a bad combination to have. You work really hard, you stress a lot, and you think you're following a plan, and you think you're doing everything right, but you're really not. You're really overstressing yourself.
Coach tells you you're not, and then you're defeated.
Yes, and you're defeated, or you're not listening fully to the coach when he's saying that part. It's one thing as a coach to tell you to work harder, but it's another level to coaching when you tell somebody to not work as hard. All right, you need to scale back.
Right, back
and off. I mean, we're here to make money. We're here to better our business. We're here to make you better. But we don't always want to tell you, oh man, lift less weights, do this, adjust this, get more sleep. Those are the things that you have to do to see those results. But a lot of people don't want to hear that and adjust to that, that type of
right. You push your
goal.
Body too far, it's going to push back.
Right.
And I know with the digestion and water weight, a lot of things that females deal with, hormone fluctuations throughout the month too.
Yes.
Telling them to take 2 rest days and to increase their carbs by 50% and to go for a walk and relax. And they're like, well, I'm not losing weight, so I need to do more.
Right.
And then they do that, and then they feel better. They weigh in on Monday, and they're down 2 pounds. Yeah, you chilled out.
Right, exactly.
Not holding all that water. So having the client understand what level of you they need, and you being completely honest with them the entire time. I think both of those are very important. Now, my favorite, not say anything bad about the ladies, clients, but this happens with men too. But we talk about emotionally dependent clients. So when trainer role becomes therapist. Now this happens a lot in competition because of the heightened emotions and the attachment to the program and how much dedication is required. But how do you set boundaries, or how do you deal with a client who's becoming emotionally dependent on the training or on you?
When I started this journey of personal training, I wanted to be able to give my clients something different that I feel like will set me apart than anyone else. And one of those things was having myself be educated in certain aspects. So I went and got my life coaching degree or certification. So I'm a certified life coach, and I realized that everybody's different. Everybody's going through things, and we all have goals. So I had to sit down and figure out how, besides personal training, how else am I going to get them to reach their goal? And so I adapted a mix between life coaching and personal training. So that's how I adapt to my coaching style and training style. I ask the difficult questions that are outside of the gym, and I'll have to navigate around there, because if your home life is messed up, if you're not financially there, physically there, mentally there, spiritually there, then we got to make some adjustments to get you there before you can do the other goal, because they won't match up. You can't be all in here, but then suffer somewhere else, because then you're gonna fall off. Yeah, and then I won't get the results, and then these people are walking billboards for us. Mm-hmm. We have to, you and I are in a unique situation where we have to get results. Mm-hmm. Our business is result driven. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If we don't put the results out there, we don't produce the results, we can't put them on stage. We don't get the results, we don't get more clients, we lose our income. So it's a bit of a stressful spot to be in, because if we don't know what we're talking about, they don't get the results, then they go talk bad about us. So it's like this could be very bad. That's a big deal when it comes to that type of situation. So I just, like I said, bring it backwards. I incorporated life coaching into my personal training style. So I kind of blend the two. So I sit down when those clients come to me with their issues. I talk to them. I bring them to the side, or I'll message them, or I'll call them separately. For example, I've had clients where they coming in after a hard day, a divorce or a breakup or something, and instead of lifting weights, doing their normal thing, I was like, all right, well, you need to go deadlift. Like, we're just gonna go do deadlifts. I've had situations where I'm like, okay, well, you've never done boxing before. You seem like you got some energy you need to get out. We're gonna go to boxing. We're gonna go punch something right now. I'm gonna teach you how to throw a punch. I've had situations where I've had to take them out and go for a walk, because I understand that, like, the stress is too much for them to handle in here, and they're gonna break down.
That day.
Right? Yeah. So it's just adapting to what they really need that day, and I think that's just being a good people person, listening to them. Listening to those red flags, and bringing it full circle, listening to them say they have an ache or a pain, instead of just brushing it off. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Like, we're not Marines, so that's not going to work here. Like, it's probably really pain, so just listening to them and adapting to what they need, because ultimately with that, if they get injured or if they can't make it in, you're losing. So we got to keep them winning all the way around.
And sometimes what they do need is a good kick in the pants when they come in.
Oh, yeah.
Even in a bad situation. I have one client, won't say his name, but he came in one day. It was kind of like windy, stormy outside, so he had like a windbreaker on. He had his the hood on, and like it pulled tight. And he's in his mid-50s at the time, and I was like, hey, man, what's up? Said, what's up? I was, in a great mood, ready to go. I knew we were doing chest that day, he was a powerlifter guy. And he just looked down, eyes poofy. And I was like, what's up, man? Tried to give some energy to him. And my mom just died. Mm. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Give this, like, manly man a hug, mm-hmm. and just be like, hey, man, what do you need today? He's like, no, I just need to lift. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to do that. Mm-hmm. And he talked for a minute and told me what had happened. And he didn't have a great relationship with his mom, but he started fixing it, and then she had quickly passed. And so at least for him, he was able to make that reconnection at the end. But I remember we were bench pressing that day, and I just let him talk, put on the weight, let him talk. In between set, warmed it up, boom. And all of a sudden, he saw that 315 was on the bar. He had never done it before. Down, pause, press, clean, smooth, racked it. He stood up and sat at the edge of the bench, took a breath, stood up, he looked at me, he's like, I fucking needed that. Mm-hmm. And to see that, this guy who just lost his mom, who came in with this uplifted him enough, this little act of a bench press, mm-hmm. going to the gym, and just, that's what he needed that day, mm-hmm. right?
Right.
He wasn't the guy that I needed to go outside and be, hey, man, let's go take a walk and talk about it. Because that would have just made him spiral, right? Mm-hmm. And so you can't approach everyone with like, hey, we don't hit a PR when you're stressed out.
Right.
'Cause a lot of times that's not what you should do. Like
Right.
you said, like your central nervous system is fired up.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't be trying to hit a PR. But the fact for him that day was like, and he was like, that's what I need. And he like thanked me and gave me a hug.
Yeah.
This big burly dude. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. We succeeded, right?
Yeah.
Just knowing what that client wants at that time. One thing that I wanted to add that I was poor at, and I learned from when I was teaching in Abu Dhabi, was after you've started a certain way with a client and you've allowed something to happen, like you've allowed them to become emotionally dependent, you've allowed them to act a certain way, allowed them to goof off too much in a session, it's like, oh, how do I like reel that back in? And when I was a teacher, if you started off the school year trying to be the cool teacher, that class owned you until the first break.
Yeah.
You try to come back from a Friday and the class is going crazy, you try and get stern with them on a Monday, no way. It's not enough time.
Right.
There's no reset that happened. They already remember they owned you last week, they're going to own you again.
Yeah.
And so what I found is that when there's like a 4-day weekend or a week off, like a Thanksgiving break or whatever, that's when you come back. You know, when that client goes on vacation, they've been goofing off too long, and then they come back from vacation, they're reset now. And you enter that first session, you're more stern with them, you're more hard, you don't allow the goofing off. They're like, oh shit, this is how it is now.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they forgot how it was, and now this is the new normal now. So sometimes you do have to wait for that little gap in time, or maybe like, hey, you know what? I know I can only get one session this week. My schedule's really busy. I got X, Y, and Z. We'll get that one session, and next week come back in. Then they have like a week when they don't see you. They come back in, and boom. Hey, a new program we're starting today is how it is. Boom, it's straight to business.
Yeah.
So I found that works too. Is waiting for that little reset or that gap with the client allows you to come back and start fresh. You know, clean the slate.
I like that. I like the aspect of that. One thing I like to do, I train a lot of groups. Some in my groups, within my groups, sometime occasionally I'll have like someone that has a big goal and somebody has a little goal, right? And I like that dynamic because I adapt to the training style of the person that, like, you know, that needs it. Like, for example, if I have one client A that's competing and they have a show in 4 or 5 weeks, I'm pushing them at a certain degree. But I'm also constantly reminding them, hey, you have a show. You don't get to do 3 sets. You have to do 4. And this other person, all right, well, you're going to do your 4 sets, but we're going to change here, you know? So I am like, I do get to push them in the right direction according to their goal. I'm always cognizant of their goal. You know, I'm constantly knowing, all right, you have this goal, we have to push like this. You have this goal, you have to push like that. So in a group, I don't care what we're doing. You know, if somebody has a certain goal, a certain mindset, I'll snap that person in the line and say, hey, you need to get over here. We can't have that. You can't be doing this. And I don't mind saying that.
And they appreciate that too on all sides. The person probably appreciates, I was fucking around or whatever. And the guy that maybe is more intense or has a bigger goal is probably very thankful that, you know, it's their time and they appreciate that you kind of tailored it more towards them because that's what they needed. But I also find too that sometimes those people with little goals can help motivate and push the people that have the bigger goals, when they're tired, their cardio's high, their food's low, and they come in and they're like, oh man, that guy who's starting, he's new, he's fresh, and he's fucking pushing me. And I think that's great when you have that, like the underdog come in and kind of push up the big dog, you know?
Right, yeah.
That's a good one too. And then one of my favorites, we talk about these last 2, is going to be price resistance, but luxury lifestyle. So the first one, our second one's going to be program hopping, and clients bounce around. So let's talk about the price resistance. So they're telling you, oh, your coaching's too much. This is more at the start of a program, right? They've come in, you've made a phone consultation, they've done their welcome workout, and you give them the price, and then they give you some resistance. And then you ask them, well, hang on, we'll talk about the price in a minute. This is what it is. Let's talk about some of your expenses in your life. And they go to Starbucks every day. You got a Rolex on your wrist. You know, a new gym outfit all the time. You know, new car every year. Yeah. And we talk about, you know, door dashing your lunch every day. I mean, if you take a $10 Starbucks and a $40 DoorDash, you know, it's $50. You have 3 times a week. Shoot.
Right.
$600 a month right there. That'll pay for some coaching.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So do you have anything that you like to do? And I kind of say that to them too, because I'm kind of a dick sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just be like, yeah, this coaching must be expensive for that new Escalade you got outside the Rolex on your, you know?
Yeah.
Hoping it's real. But how do you approach price resistance when you know that someone has a luxurious lifestyle? Because I can understand if someone's coming from a poor neighborhood and they're coming in with like 3-year-old shoes and their feet sticking out of them and stuff, and they do have price resistance. But what about someone, especially in our area, the demographics that we're in, people here have money enough to pay for training for the most part. So how do you approach that?
I usually have a conversation with them, pull them to the side, and then see where they are, like financially. You know, kind of if I have to do that. Luckily, I don't run into that problem too often because over the years I've adjusted my pricing and my system to where it's manageable and affordable for most people. But that's what the experience. Yeah, that's what that group come in. That's exactly where the groups come in. Other than that, I allow for adjustable payment structures, which don't necessarily mean I have to drop my pricing. It just, I might have to do like, all right, split the payments here and split the payment here.
Right.
And then I'm based on also like how the client is pushing. If they really want results, if they're showing up and if they're putting forth effort, then I'm like, okay, well, we can make these adjustments. But if they're not showing up and not eating the food and not doing that, and then it's more of just time wasting.
You're gonna waste my time. I'm gonna waste your money.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah.
And
So then
those clients that are in a financial poor position, and they're working hard, they're doing everything on the side. And I've had it before too, where a client was going through a divorce, and the husband was the breadwinner, and he pulled the money out from underneath her, and so I trained her friend. So I said, hey, look, you were paying for a 3-time-a-week program. I'm going to drop you down to our 2-time-a-week program, but I still want you to come on that third day, and you're going to come with your friend.
Yep.
And you're just going to jump on whenever she is, if that's cool.
Yes.
And they're usually very, very thankful for something like that.
Yes.
Right? And now once they get back on their feet and everything, you can realize that, and by talking, your client, then you talk about like, all right, I know that things are getting better now, so my business is busy. I'm going to have to put you back on the 3-time-a-week program. But I do feel that those type of clients, once you've done that for them, they all also become almost lifetime clients too.
Yes.
Because you were there at a low point.
Yes.
And there's a lot of clients that when they go through a big change in their life like that they need good people around them in the gym.
Yes.
Because it's something that they're doing that's bettering themselves, and then everything out there is trash in their life. And is there one little sanctuary, and now they're like, crap, I can't afford my sanctuary. So it's not like you can go out and get freebies all the time.
Right.
But we, being relatively established, we do have like some flexibility to allow that.
Exactly.
You can't take advantage of, but it's something that, you have to decide as trainers for yourselves, like when you're able to do that.
Right.
So when you love what you do, it'd be nice to have everybody in here 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And, you train for free because you love it. But, who's paying your mortgage?
Right. Yep. I've done that from time to time too. I have a few clients that fall into financial hardships and like, all right, I have to adjust the price for you. Or, I've even ran a couple like where you don't pay next month, just next month, but I need you to stay in here. And I feel like that goes a long way because that shows them that it shows them that you're human and it's not all about the dollar, And
someone's probably done that for you. I know people have done that for me before, for sure.
So I've
give back.
Yes. So I'm like, all right, you take this month off. Long as you stay here and you hit all your appointments, we're good. But if you miss your appointments, then we can't move forward like that.
Again? I'm coming collect.
Yeah. And then sure enough, the next month comes over, they're back on their feet, and boom, things go. Because the thing is, I don't want money to stop progress, and that's what I tell them. I explain to them, I don't want a financial thing to stop your progress. I've had a couple clients where they couldn't pay at the beginning, like, oh man, I want to start in 2 weeks. Well, I don't think I'll see you in 2 weeks. Start now. And in 2 weeks, you make your first payment. Yeah. And then, boom, they pay for the next few months or something. Right. I mean, because I kind of, as you do this, you kind of read people, you pick up on it, and you see they're not scammers. They really need your help, and they really want it. And, sometimes if you're an established person, you can do these things. You can make these type of moves. But if you're at the beginning of your career, I wouldn't make these type of judgment
No,
calls and
no.
jumps.
No, then people are gonna drag you through
Yeah.
because they know they can now.
Yeah.
Especially to start. So don't ever do that with a new client.
Never.
Don't be giving them all like 3 months free training right at the start, or
No.
you ain't gonna be able to pay us here at Self-Made to keep the roof
Right.
on our heads.
Yeah.
So, last one I want to talk about is program hopping. So this is a big one I was talking to a client about today. When you find out that in your consultation that they've been with like 5 trainers in the last 5 years. Now there's a difference if like if I go on vacation, Jarvis takes one of my clients or Chandler or whatever people that I trust. That's a different story. I have clients that if they can't get in the session with me during the week, like, and they have a Powerhouse membership, like Big Jason's over there, he'll go work out with them at Powerhouse or something, and I appreciate that. I never feel threatened by that, so I know that's my client. However, if they can't make it into my time schedule, I'd rather them be there with someone I trust and skip the workout.
Right.
'Cause that's something that's important for their progress, right? And so, how would you deal with a client that comes to you during your consultation? What do you have to do to protect yourself from being program hopped? I have in the past, when I find out that a client is a program hopper or a coach hopper, is that I require a bigger amount up front. I'll say, like, you got to pay for 2 months up front instead of a month or something like that. That way, if they start having some resistance or some pressure, or they feel like they're going to jump ship, they're at least stuck with you for that amount of time. And if there's an upfront cost that comes with new program, new meal plan, learning their schedule, like that all takes time and energy that if they're just paying the same rate or the same amount of money as your other clients that you already have on cruise control, I feel like that client, especially if they're a program hopper, should pay more. So my solution to that was if they're a program hopper, they have to pay 2 months up front. Is there a certain way that you would approach someone like that?
Yeah. I kind of do. I do a little research nowadays. Social media is out there, and people. It's a big small town, So generally, if somebody comes to you from somebody else, I love to go directly to the source of that other trainer, and I'll reach out because I don't have a problem with people. So I'll reach out. Usually, go up and say, "Hey, was this previously your client?" Because I don't want any problems. We're here 12 hours a day sometimes, so you don't want a problem where you are the most, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's generally best just to go towards that trainer and ask them, hey, was this previous year client, or reach out on social media, whatever. Hey, did you guys have any problems? Do they owe you anything? Like you kind of want to know before that way you know what to get yourself in.
That has happened with us
Yes.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of
talk
want
about it, but
Yeah.
know about it.
Yes, exactly. So I don't mind reaching out to that, especially if I know they're a trainer hopper, program hopper. I'm like, okay, well, let me reach out and see what happened because I know you were previously with them. Let me take a day or two. It might take some time for me to get a result. But I do want to know what I'm getting myself into. I want to be prepared. And then if everything's good, we can move forward. But if everything is like, is there a red flag that I don't really have time to deal with, don't want to deal with, some extra drama, then I can easily say no, and I can easily not take that client on,
What I've also done too is if I think they're going to be a problem, is I'll give them to someone who has maybe time for a problem. New trainer, and I'll tell them up front, I don't want to give them some like a bad client. Like, hey, look, this person want to train me, but this is what I found out in their consultation. So I refer them to you. They're going to hit you up. Now, because I gave you a referral, I request a $100 referral if they sign up with you. So if I see them in here with you, I expect $100. And that way, I get paid for at least doing that consultation.
There you go.
Right on the back end from referring them to that trainer. But I tell them up front, like, hey, this is the reason why I didn't sign them on. I don't have time. You got no clients. You need clients.
Right.
Here's client.
There you go.
But realize you're gonna learn from this client. This client gonna teach you something.
Yeah.
Right. And it can become good, it can be bad. And there's a couple trainers here that I pass off clients to, not always because it was a red flag, but
Timing.
Schedule, timing, I got 2 guys right now that I'm actually going to maybe talk to you about this after that want 5 a.m. Or 5:30 or 6, and that time is pretty locked in for me except for like once a week.
Okay.
So we're either going to do a hybrid program, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. So
Okay.
something where like I train them one day a week and the other 2, but the other way too is when you're operating in a place of business, whether you're a trainer now or whether you're a client, it's okay to have assistants. Jarvis has done me huge favors and taken clients of mine for boxing, for like cardio, like striking fitness or whatever you want to call it, and they love it. And they still train with me 2-3 days a week. They see him once, twice a week. But just the fact that they're here, it's another layer of them staying with Self-Made. It's another, having them train with Jarvis actually keeps them more accountable to staying with me. And a lot of young trainers think like, oh, I want to keep my client to me. But if they're not having the most like beneficial or best experience that they could have just with you, and they're like, oh, fighting seems kind of fun. I ain't teaching them how to box. I don't know. And so having them here, I still go up and say hi when they walk in. You know, Jarvis says hi to them when they're in here with me. And so the ability to like kind of tag team or co-train them makes it beneficial for the both of us. It's another layer of accountability for them to continue training. It's not like they're going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to have a 50-year-old lady all of a sudden one day be, you know what? I want to be a pro boxer. Right. It's just, she's not going to be like, I'm going to train Jarvis 4 days a week and learn how to throw blows, you know? So working together and co-branding with your facility here at Self-Made with another coach that you trust is going to really amplify your business.
And that's a good point. A lot of times, like even for me, like one of my strong points could be somebody else's weak points and vice versa. So like if I have a client, I've never been afraid to like reach out to another coach and say, hey, you're stronger at this. Can you go over this with my client? You know, and it shows, it creates that family bond. Like it shows that you're not in competition with the other trainer. It shows that you can actually reach out. And to me, it shows that you're not afraid to say that you don't know something. And that's huge because, hey, I want you to succeed.
Transparency. Yeah.
I can't get you there, but I'm going to get you there. You know, like one way or another, I'm going to get you from point A to point B. There might be somebody else that helps us out get you there, but I'm going to get you there versus trying to take it all on and like try to do things to move certain ways that you don't normally move. I mean, little things, for example, like me teaching a female how to pose for a bikini. I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to sit there and force it. You know what I mean? I know a little bit, but I don't know a lot. So I would reach out and have someone that knows what they're doing teach them. That's just one little example, but never be afraid to reach out to your peers. Well, I would say as a veteran in the game. Right. Never be afraid to reach out to your co-trainers and ask them a question. If you see them doing a move that you've never seen before, ask them, have them explain it to you, try it, use it on your clients. I mean, it shows that you're well-versed and it shows that you're well-rounded and it shows that you're trying to constantly evolve. You know, you don't want to shut down and be, you know, or you know everything and you don't need anybody else's help because it shows. It shows when you walk around the gym, it shows that you're shut off. It shows that you don't want to deal with other people. I mean, it really does, you know, so.
I heard it one time is that if a trainer speaks in explicit, like this is the explicit and the only way to do something, he's probably a bad trainer. Yeah. Right? Like the more than one way to skin a cat.
Yes.
Like, this will be different depending on the person that you're talking to. The last thing I want to say is, like you said, co-coaching. What NFL team has one head coach and one head coach only? Every NFL team, their head coach, they have an offensive coordinator, they have a quarterback's coach, they have a passing coach, the wide receivers have a coach, right? Yep. And it all goes up the line to the head coach, but everything is delegated to other people. Now, that one quarterback could have 3 or 4 coaches that he has to talk to. He's got a strength and conditioning coach. He's got a quarterback's coach. He's got an offensive coordinator. He's got a head coach. But he also probably has a guy who runs him through his like conditioning drills. He got a guy that tapes his ankles. All for one player, right? So when you think about it that way, instead of like, oh, well, it's not a whole big team. Like, yeah, even those individual players, and you as a client here are an athlete, you should have multiple opinions from trusted veterans or OGs, as Miguel would say, in the game, and you will only get better progress. Right. So if you're a client and you have any questions about how we look at training and our philosophies on training, if you're a trainer and you want to grow your business and you have questions on how to work on objections or anything that you're finding difficult, how to do marketing strategies, go ahead and drop a comment or send us a message and we'll get back to you and we'll talk about it on the next podcast. But yeah, leave us comments and questions and like and share this, please. Thank you guys. For me, Coach Jarvis, the Self-Made Training Facility.